In this video, I'll be doing a base tour of somewhere that I built on Constantium.net. While I do that, I will be rambling about things I learned in life as it relates to finances and the social experiences that go along with those learnings and those conversations around finances. Special thanks to L-Train and his collaborators. Him? She? I don't know their pronouns. Doesn't matter. I'm rambling too much again. Jesus Christ. Anyway, thanks to them and Chillhop, and links to them in the description. Okay. Haven't made a video in a while. Lately I've been sort of, I guess, pruning the various things I do with my time. And between Enderbook and YouTube and all that kind of stuff, Minecraft was getting a bit to be too work-y, so this video is sort of a return to just a more casual way of doing things, casual with Minecraft. So this video is more just kind of going back to the old format where I'd ramble about something while I'm in a place on my favorite server, Constantium.net. Here we've got a little mini fort farmstead thingamajig. Got some root vegetables growing here, some chickens, and this is kind of a base I've been working on, and I think at this point I'm okay if it gets griefed. So if someone does some block rotation to find it and grief it, I'm okay with that because I feel like I'm done with it now. But anyway, there's been things brewing in my head lately, and yeah, just well, hang on a second, I gotta pause this. Okay, I'm back. Didn't realize I was interrupting a meeting my partner was having. Anyway, I don't remember where I was, but either way, yeah, I've got this build going on, and this one is just kind of a perch on the hill. The whole sort of thing was intended to be kind of like a long distances between each place, sort of like a rural agrarian type community. You'll find in a lot of these builds that I use these lanterns everywhere because I'm finally on 1.19. I've really been wanting to use them, and I think in this particular overall build I just overused them. So this guy's the wheat farmer, and I posted on the subreddit part of this build, just a little meme about plumbing, which you'll see down here. Yeah, I've got this little over here, just like a bathroom, and you can just do your business and then press the button and it just flushes. I've got the pole chain like the old school toilets, but obviously that doesn't work with redstone as far as I know. But yeah, there's like little cabinets, a little kitchen here with the sink, and I had my shulkers here from when I was doing building, but I just carried them on me since I moved on to that other build that we started at. And then I thought I always like with underground bases to have like a little underground garden terrarium, and so like in here you can't really see it, but it's like there's an access point, and so like here I have sort of like it blocked off, and the other thing I like about any kind of building in general is like a secret access thing. So you pull this lever and it opens the pistons here to let you inside the terrarium, but then it also opens pistons here, which is like a secret underground tunnel that in my LARP brain, like this whole rural agrarian community is like little goblin dudes that yeah, are semi-subterranean, and they've faced oppression and genocide in the past. So this more wealthier wheat farmer has like this secret tunnel to an easy access point for multiple escape routes. They can either escape by road through this access point, they can go down the river into the inlet or up the river, depending on how they need to escape. So that was kind of the LARP I had in my head about that. And then down this way, just like a less paved road. And you can kind of see like the paving is more robust this way, and then slightly less robust here, and then this one, it's like you're getting out into the boonies. But anyway, yeah, I've kind of had thoughts brewing in my head lately, just in like random conversations that come up just in life. And as usual, I'm sort of like learning about the world as it is, trying to take off as many blinders as I have when taking that information in. And I think I had a lot of them. I don't know how many people, how many anyone else does, but I feel like I had a lot. Anyway, part of taking the blinders off and having a bit more bravery about things, which is going to be in the following example I'm going to make. It's going to sound kind of ironic because it's not all that brave. Basically, I've just been sort of like afraid of like managing money, and so part of that learning, I've been looking at stocks. One of the stocks that I might have that I was about to tinker with was a tree nut company of some kind, and you can see in this area here there's like a logging corporation that did a clear cutting of this area, and sort of like, I guess this is the base for it, maybe, I'm not sure. I didn't really have too much of a story here other than it's a clear cutting forestry company. But anyway, I sort of just started tinkering with simulators, and I started to have a lot of success with it, and I started to like learn about what I was doing, why I was doing it, why it worked, all that kind of stuff. And I realized that it's just like sort of like a big component of what is called the finance economy, which essentially means that a lot of our economics is sort of built around a system of basically just moving money around, and that moving of money around doesn't necessarily provide any value to anyone whatsoever, which is kind of weird and counterintuitive, and I kind of think it's frankly bullshit. But I managed to, in my simulations, get pretty high returns, and the way I could do it in the future, it seems like it could be repeatable. So obviously I'll be careful if I do try it with real money. But it just is one of many ways in which the world is sort of like becoming clear to me, the nature of it. And generally it can only be clear in sort of a more truthful view of it, which can often be quite difficult just because of how terrifying it is, or how wrong I've been about certain things, and those are never comfortable subjects to face. But anyway, in the space you can see here, we're sort of semi-subterranean again, and I got a little hot tub here, and I even went through the effort of LARPing a source of that hot spring. But yeah, just kind of semi underground, and then up here, as you can see, I had spots for my 6 shulkers again, and I just kind of cleared it out. In the first base I put barrels, but this one already has barrels. I didn't want to do more, so whatever. And that's sort of the logging base, and as you can see, I used my favorite one-click door design in this one. Anyway, yeah, I was been tinkering with finance type stuff and finding a lot of success with it, and part of that process was like I was just getting really excited about it. It's like if you were to play a video game and you were kicking ass at it, like you'd probably want to like tell your friends about, oh, I've been playing this game, it was so fun, I did this, I did that. The problem with stocks is like people already have their preformed opinions about investing in that kind of stuff, and as I was sharing, they're like, oh, you gotta be careful, blah, blah, blah. And there was just like the same goddamn talking points over and over again. And none of them really took the time to understand what it was that I was doing and why I was successful with it and why I had fun with it and all that kind of stuff. And ultimately it just led to sharing my excitement about something that they didn't actually know as much as I thought they would be, and they wouldn't really hear me in the ways that they normally do with me on other subjects. And it kind of just made me realize that people are pretty much just as terrified as money as I was, but maybe not as honest about it, perhaps. I'm not sure. I don't know. I can't speak for them, but either way. Anyway, so here's another build. This one's kind of like the bridge maintainer for this other bridge. Obviously, I'm going hard on the deep slate and hanging lanterns, but we've got a little drop off here, and this one's kind of fun too. It's another sort of like example of my joy for underground gardens. Yeah, and then in here was like a big little geode cavern that I completely mined out and retrofitted to this sort of like underground garden area. With some springs here, and over there, and over there. Really like the water features, just like British gardeners. If you ever watched that British gardening show, or any British gardening show really, like those people seem to be obsessed with water features. Anyway, yeah, so the building was fun here. This was the first build that I did. It was kind of like my base of operations as I sort of kind of messed around. But yeah, anyway, yeah, people seem to be terrified of money. I mean, I already knew that in some ways, like with many people on sort of their journey toward gaining or regaining power over their finances. One of the many things people do, and the one that sort of opened my mind, and I've heard other people too. They write a book called Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki, I think is his name. The guy himself is kind of one of those financial guru grifter types, but it was a great book, and whether it's fiction or not, it did a great job of giving a feeling of empowerment. I recommend the book, but obviously read it with a big old grain of salt and be cautious about any of his other books, because they all just kind of seem like a bunch of fluff. He kind of seems like the book was a one-hit wonder for him, and he just uses that to write out any other grifts that he might do in the future. But anyway, all that aside, I haven't really done my research on him, so maybe he's not grifting, but to me it sounds like he is, personally, just with the pressured seminars and that kind of thing, but I'm not going to dive too deep into that. My point is, one of the things he says in the book is like people lose sleep and are terrified of their financial situation, and it can sort of lead to unhealthy or nonsensical thinking on the subject, and that can obviously be seen quite a lot with the recent various financial scams and stuff going on, whether it be crypto or insider trading or pump and dump schemes, Ponzi schemes, pyramid schemes, whatever, all that stuff. Anyway, as you can see, this is what I did with the geode thing that I completely mined out. And this one kind of, I thought maybe about putting a story to it of some kind, like it's maybe like a temple of some kind, and there's like a rebirth process where they open the door and then like you just get pushed in and fall, and then when you fall into the water you're reborn or something. All this is kind of shallow water. They might break their legs. Somebody dig that out. But anyway, yeah, so yeah, this whole thing was yeah, I just wanted really long roads in between every build, because I've seen a lot of bases where it's like they have like a very rigid, you know, grid system of roads, or well, and either it gets filled in, but it still looks kind of very block city-like thing. And very often, like if the base is, you know, griefed beforehand, or like if they just don't finish because they get bored or it's over. There's just like a bunch of like empty lots, which I really don't like. So I figured, why not just do a bunch of like harebrained, weird, non-directional roads, and just, you know, instead of like fill spaces in, just pave towards some random direction, and then build in a spot that looks cool once the road reaches a place that looks cool to me. So anyway, yeah, so I guess just I'm realizing in my sort of attempt to compound my financial confidence, I've just found that a lot of people in general just have a lot of their own blinders up, and I didn't realize that they didn't necessarily put in the sort of mental work that I thought they did. But all that aside, sort of communicating in those sorts of scenarios, I realized that I can be a bit insufferable sometimes, because I know things that people don't, and I don't realize it. And I'm like talking over their heads, but I'm not trying to. It's just that I don't know, I thought they knew what I knew, which is kind of obviously a dumb thing to think. Yeah, I've just been learning that I'm kind of socially inept, or at least a lot less than I thought I was. A lot less socially inclined than I thought I was, and anyone who's played Constantium is probably like screaming at the screen right now, yeah, we know. But anyway, yeah, that's the end of the tour. This is the first part of the base that I made. I popped myself out of an end portal, or another portal, and I always like kind of like how when people make a portal, they sort of bring the nether with them in the surroundings of the portal. So that's sort of what I tried to do here. Like basically I had Baritone take me to a random location, and I just used whatever blocks Baritone mined out in that traveling process to yeah, just make a big old external nether part. The obsidian I did mine ender chest for, but otherwise everything else was just things that accumulated in my inventory. So there you go, zero waste nether build. I'm sure it's organic too, fair trade, gluten-free even. Well, anyway, that's kind of things that I've learned about life and people while I was making this build. So there you go. Yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one, I guess. Adios.